Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week, Chancellor James Meeser addresses all of the big issues in his annual State of the University address.
And we have an exclusive follow-up on the story of a UNC student trapped in Lebanon when the fighting broke out.
We'll have all the rumbling, bumbling highlights of the football team season opener coming up in sports.
Plus, Laura Pagano is here with a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and more, Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the September 6th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Kate Schoen.
And I'm Alex Villarreal. Thanks for joining us. A new school year means it's time for the Chancellor to set the tone for the next 12 months. Justin Smith was in the Great Hall Wednesday for the Chancellor's State of the University address. He joins us live from the newsroom. Justin, what did the Chancellor have to say?
Alex, the Chancellor set out his goals for the future of the university and also took a look back, offering a progress report about promises made during past speeches. The Great Hall was filled to capacity. Last year, Meeser called for a closer look at UNC and its service to the state, especially in three key areas: education, healthcare, and economic development. Wednesday, he called for action.
In education, our top priority is increasing the number of K-12 science and math teachers. In health, our number one strategy is to expand the professional workforce available to citizens. We will support enrollment increases in dentistry, in medicine, nursing, pharmacy, public health, and social work. In economic development, we envision a management academy for fledgling high-growth companies and a program to help state and local leaders build sustainable economies.
Meeser added that Carolina North is critical to the future of the university and its involvement with the service in the state. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Justin Smith, Carolina Week.
Thanks, Justin. Chancellor Meeser started giving annual addresses when he came to Carolina 6 years ago.
Two UNC students who interned in Lebanon are back safely after being stranded during the fighting. This summer, Carolina Week spoke exclusively with Ian Lai and Stephanie Preston when they were at a refugee camp in Cyprus. Now back in Chapel Hill, Lai is relieved to be out of a war zone.
Never did I think that war would actually happen while I was there. We would be awakened by the bombs, but after a while we just became accustomed to them, and they wouldn't even bother our routines anymore. You could see smoke rising from an area which had just been hit 2 minutes ago, and so you would view these images and you can't help but be affected by them. Just learning how people dealt with the stress and worked through that stress was a very growing up experience for me. People were angry at Hezbollah for bringing them into a war which nobody ever wanted, but as the bombings and the killings continued, people started to view Hezbollah as the defenders of the country since the Lebanese army wasn't able to do so. It was very tense. People were complaining all the time and they just wanted to get out. There were a lot of them who were very anxious and weren't able to relax. This is what we were eating at the camp, the refugee camp in Cyprus, while we were waiting to be evacuated to the States. It reminded me so much of the footage I'd seen of Katrina, homeless people. Cots, rows of cots, very basic amenities. This is a t-shirt that I picked up for a little over $2. If you look carefully, this is the word Hezbollah in Arabic, and what they've done is they've replaced the letter Aleph in Arabic with a depiction of an arm holding a rifle as a call to arms. Life has almost returned to normal for me, it's back to classes, back to school. I would definitely love to go back to Beirut and the region. I love the city. It was a very vibrant city before all this started.
Lai says Preston also returned to the States, but she is now studying abroad in China.
Now that we're back in school, it's time to think about those dreaded term papers. More students are using search engines like Google to do their research. But experts warn that many of the sites found by search engines aren't always scholarly or even legit. Coordinator of UNC Research Instruction, Lisa Norberg, says professors expect students to use sources that meet higher academic standards.
In college, professors are going to expect students to use more academic sources, scholarly, scientific journals.
The UNC Undergraduate Library offers research instruction sessions throughout the year.
What would you do if President Bush requested your friendship on Facebook? Politicians are using the site to get some face time and possibly attract new voters. This means John Kerry or John Edwards can make Facebook profiles that list their interests and political goals. UNC junior Meredith Bryson says this will benefit politicians.
Like if you look online, you can search for like the specific district that you're from. I think that can get a lot more publicity for the candidates who are outside of the Chapel Hill area.
Although Facebook might not be the best way to attract voters, politicians can't seem to resist the cheap publicity. For high school seniors, the college admissions process is just getting started.
A major part of that is taking standardized tests. Carolina Week's Javon Vital took a look at how changes to one entrance test is affecting admissions.
Aptitude test, more commonly known as the SAT, is a common college entrance exam, which strikes anxiety in the hearts of high school students. UNC freshman Rachel Stieber says there's too much emphasis placed on the test.
And that's why there was so much pressure on me, or not just me, but everybody. I mean, I felt like to get into a good school, I had to make a good SAT score, so I took it 4 times.
But UNC Chapel Hill Director of Admissions Stephen Farmer says the test isn't the only factor colleges look at.
We use it advisedly, and we use it alongside a lot of other things. So we have a lot of other sources of information besides the test to help us understand any individual student.
In March of 2005, the SAT was redesigned to include a writing sample. The class of 2010 was the first class to take this test, but ended up scoring somewhat lower compared to previous classes taking the old test. However, Farmer doesn't believe the dip in test scores is cause for alarm.
Academically, this class is as strong or stronger than any we've ever had. The average SAT is down a little bit from what it was last year. We think this is a function of national changes in the SAT.
Rachel's score on the new test didn't hurt her.
I realized that schools look at way more than just your SAT, because I had really good grades and lots of community service, and I feel like that canceled out my lower score.
Farmer says students like Rachel are a good example of admissions officers looking beyond the test. In Chapel Hill, I'm Javon Vital, Carolina Week.
We spoke with a representative from the College Board who said fewer students retook the SAT this year, which could also have affected the scores.
In many parts of the world, women are relegated to washing clothes and taking care of children.
Coming up, we'll tell you about one program that's improving the quality of life for women in Mexico.
There is really only one boy. One girl. One tree. One forest. One deep, dancing ocean. One mountain calling. One handful of sand through our fingers. One endless sky overhead. And one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, EarthShare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
Women in Mexico are fighting for equal rights in the workplace with the help of a unique program. Jennifer Carpenter has the story.
In the state of Tabasco, Mexico, female employment is growing rapidly. More notably, there has been a dramatic increase in businesses owned and operated by women. This expansion is attributed to government emphasis on grassroots development programs. Low-income families are often denied access to loans and savings opportunities. Historically, women have been excluded from commercial investment, but in 1999, a microfinance program began to offer hundreds of women a chance. VanMujeres provides investment opportunities to rural women so they can start their own businesses and improve their quality of life. With her loan, Maria Romero opened the first telephone center in the pueblo of Sanchez Magallanes.
When I started here with this loan, I only had one phone line, and now I have 3.
Maria Romero is one of 1,500 women in the program who apply for loans in order to set up small businesses. For most, VanMujeres offers women their first opportunity at financial independence.
The most important part of the program is that women understand their own self-worth.
The VanMujeres project has spread rapidly throughout Tabasco, bringing women out of the house and into the workforce.
Yes, we can move forward. It is very important that this organization continues to grow because we are independent women, because we can do it, because we are rural women, we are fighting women, and we are enterprising women.
The success of the VanMujeres program can be found in the women themselves, whose financial independence inspires them to work toward a better life. In Villahermosa, Mexico, I'm Jennifer Carpenter. Carolina Week.
The Clinton Global Initiative has been promoting VanMujeres throughout Latin America. The grassroots microfinance model has been successful in other developing countries.
Bike riders, beware. You might want to be extra cautious about keeping your bicycle secure. University officials are urging students to fight theft by putting locks on their bikes. Since August 1st, 11 bikes have been stolen, more thefts than the same time period for any other year in history. With 181 bicycle rack locations, there's a lot of opportunity for missing wheels. Junior Aubrey Adcock, a theft victim, says it's important to be cautious about where you park your bike.
I found a fence, a wooden fence, so I locked the bike up against that, and then I came back and somebody had taken a hatchet or something and actually cut up the fence to take my bike. Yeah, and of course the lock was with it.
The Department of Public Safety urges students to register their bikes. This will make them easier to find if they're stolen.
I hate to say it, but we're getting fatter. A report released last week labels North Carolina the nation's 14th fattest state. F as in fat, by a health advocacy group, says about 63% of North Carolina adults are obese or overweight. At least we're not alone. Ours is one of 31 states experiencing this upward trend. State officials stepped up to the news with Eat Smart, Move More, a 5-year plan to fight obesity and related diseases, especially in kids. Medical officials say rising obesity could make kids in this generation the first to have a shorter lifespan than their parents.
We've been increasing the average lifespan over years, and if we start turning that around because of the obesity epidemic, that's kind of wakes you up a little bit to what the problems are.
Eat Smart, Move More aims to get kids excited about eating healthy. One goal is to decrease the number of kids who eat fast food on a regular basis.
UNC astronomy professors will not have to change the way they teach about our solar system, now that experts say Pluto is no longer a planet. Scientists define a planet as something that clears the neighborhood around its orbit, but Pluto shares an orbit with Neptune. Professor Wayne Christensen says UNC astronomers have been skeptical about Pluto for years.
When it was found about 10 years ago that Pluto was really small, really tiny, and since then we haven't really been willing to call it a planet.
Astronomers say this is a perfect example of the ever-changing nature of science.
It's official, hurricane season is here. So are you prepared? Here are a few tips to help you get ready. Start by making an emergency kit. Include non-perishable foods, water, and a battery-operated radio. Be sure to stop by the bank and withdraw at least $100. If the power goes out, this might be the only money you'll have. And be sure to record your belongings, such as your car and house, on video. If you have to evacuate, take the tape with you for insurance purposes. So will you follow this advice? Chapel Hill resident Andrew Zoller says hurricane preparation isn't even on his mind.
Honestly, I think we're far enough inland that it's not going to affect us that badly. I mean, yes, we'll get a lot of rain, but I don't think we're going to have like massive power outages.
But hurricanes can do major damage this far inland. Only 10 years ago, Hurricane Fran devastated the Triangle region. We're now joined by weathercaster Laura Pagano. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very good. So is it going to dry out now for a while? I know we had a lot of rain last weekend. What can we expect now?
We did have a lot of rain, and we did have a lot of rain from our other tropical storm that did come through, and it looks like we are going to be drying out the next few days. Some people are worried about this other tropical storm brewing in the Atlantic, but I wouldn't be too worried as of right now. Tropical storm Ernesto dumped plenty of rain on our area. When we come back, I'll let you know if Tropical Storm Florence will bring even more rain our way this weekend.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put that out.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Laura Pagano. Well, we have been pretty soggy in the last few days. So I have good news in the way that we are going to be drying out, and with average temperatures, it is going to be beautiful in the next few days into your weekend. Should we worry about Florence? Well, I wouldn't think so. It's taking a more north track, which means that we are out of the woods for that tropical system, but I would still keep an eye out for it. It might hit our area if it goes more eastward. As we look at the U.S. satellite map, we will see that we do have a band of clouds off to the east of the United States that are just moving off towards the Atlantic, which means for our area that it will be drying out in the next day or so. And focusing more toward the triangle area, we will see that the clouds will scoot off towards the eastern coast, seeing that this cold front is just going to be moving off towards the east. Looking at the southeast, we do see that we do have some bands of clouds off towards the Carolina coast around Cape Hatteras area. That will be dissipating as the radar will indicate also that the precipitation should be just moving on towards the east. Looking at the southeast radar, we do have some pockets of showers and thunderstorms, mostly off toward the eastern coast, and as with that cold front, it will just be moving towards the Atlantic, not affecting our viewing area Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday. So that means that we will be drying out in this region. Looking at the surface map, we will see that this cold front is just going to be lingering on through towards the south for Florida, which means thunderstorms for that area, but that should be shifting off to the east. And for the west, while we do have a high pressure system, that will just be staying stationary. So for us, it isn't going to be looking like we're going to get too much rain in the next few days. As we see Thursday, Friday, and even into the weekend, we are going to see beautiful conditions as we have mostly sunny skies with temperatures hovering around average for this time of year. And we will be on the increase for Saturday and Sunday temperature-wise, but it should be beautiful if you have any outdoor plans, such as going to a football game, maybe even baseball game. It's going to be looking great. How about we head I-40 west towards the mountains, and we will see that we have still mostly sunny conditions with perfect temperatures, 81 on Saturday and 80 as well for Sunday. So if you are heading toward the mountains, camping maybe, perfect weather. It is absolutely beautiful with temperatures low around 60. And basically, if you do want to do any fishing or outdoor activities, it is going to be kind of cool at night, so do bring a sweater. Say you want to go towards Wilmington, well, the beaches are looking not so bad as well. Thunderstorms are also possible in this area, as we will see that isolated chance of thunderstorms is typical for the summertime with the temperature hovering around 88 to 87 degrees. So it does look like it's going to be a beautiful weekend for all of us. Hopefully this tropical storm won't come our way and bring us rain once again.
Well, it looks like the mountains are the place to be. I'd like to see it a little bit cooler here.
I know, so would I.
Thank you, Laura.
We're now joined by sportscaster Brandon Curry. Brandon, what went on this weekend?
We had a lot of games this weekend. We had football, we had soccer, lacrosse, but I'll tell you about it after the break. Coming up in sports, the men's soccer team hosted the Carolina Nike Classic during the weekend. How much offensive firepower would the Heels need to overcome the competition? We'll have the answer coming up.
200 years ago, Lewis and Clark set out to discover an all-water route to the Pacific. But what they really discovered in themselves and everyone they encountered are qualities we can still learn from today. As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark bicentennial, we invite you to walk with them at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brandon Curry, and I have just one thing to say to any Virginia Tech fans out there. We might have lost on Saturday, but UNC is no pushover, and we'll see you this weekend. The #1 ranked men's soccer team welcomed all contenders to Fetzer Field this weekend in the Carolina Nike Classic. Led by solid goalkeeping from Justin Hughes, the Heels earned their 3rd straight shutout, and it was Zach Lloyd who hammered home the game's only goal to lead Carolina to a 1-0 victory. On Sunday, the Tar Heels faced Penn State in the finale of the Classic. Early in the first half, senior goalkeeper Justin Hughes goes down hard. Don't worry, that was their best shot on him. Later in the first half, senior Corey Ash with a cross to sophomore Brian Shiver, who puts it right past Penn State, Carolina up 1-0. Goalkeeper Brian Hughes made 4 saves on the day, securing Carolina's 4th straight shutout of the year as Carolina wins it 1-0. Check this out, women's soccer versus Yale in New Haven. Midfield Yael Averbush scores 4 seconds into the game. That's an NCAA record as the Heels top Yale 4-0. The field hockey team came into Tuesday night's game undefeated, including a dominating performance in last week's ACC Big Ten Challenge. Next in line to keep the streak alive, Davidson. The Heels looked strong as they surged to a first-half lead against the Wildcats. Senior Brooke Miller scored the first goal on a penalty corner. Outstanding freshman Danielle Forward followed up with the next goal, pushing Carolina to a 2-0 lead in the first half. The Tar Heels held on to that lead through a scoreless second half. With the victory, Carolina improves to 4-0 for the season. Despite the winning streak, Miller is realistic about the season.
I see really great things with this team, but potential is a burden, so we have to keep working hard and not think that we're better than we are, because we haven't played anyone in the ACC yet, and they're the top teams in the country. So.
After Saturday's disappointing 21-16 loss, the football team was left with nothing but questions. Sports reporter Brian Allen helps Coach Bunning out, explaining what went right and what went wrong.
In 2004, Carolina upset rival NC State after an overturned touchdown and subsequent fumble on the goal line to end the game. To start the 2006 season, the Tar Heels found themselves on the other side of an almost identical sequence of events. Late in the game, Barrington Edwards seemingly scored on a short touchdown run to cut the Scarlet Knights' lead to 4. But after reviewing the play, officials determined Edwards was down before the ball crossed the goal line, setting up 4th and inches.
It was a dive play, and the guy jumped over the line. We hit, and I was stopped for a while, so I put the ball out. And the guy that was on the opposite side of the defense, he came and he kept trying to take it, and he finally took it. I thought that they were going to call it down.
Joe Daly played well in his first start in Carolina blue, leading a fourth-quarter drive as the Heels tried to rally. But this interception ended Carolina's hopes of a comeback.
In football, you got to have a short memory. A lot of guys majority of guys will probably sit on this, until the end of the day. But then, maybe even into Sunday. But once Monday comes, it's about VTech now.
Tar Heel fans might have noticed a few familiar faces on campus last week and can look forward to seeing them again soon. Former UNC basketball stars Raymond Felton, Sean May, and Marvin Williams will be returning to the Smith Center October 27th in an NBA preseason game between the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Bobcats. The game is more than a month away, but former Tar Heel and current Hawk Marvin Williams is already excited.
I'm definitely excited to be back in Chapel Hill, and know myself and Raymond and Sean are definitely excited for this game.
The game is part of a larger event called The Return, during which a variety of events sponsored by the Atlanta Hawks will take place in and around the Triangle. It's great to see those guys having so much success in the NBA, but it's good to have them back in Chapel Hill.
I know I'm excited to see him back. Thanks, Brandon.
So, Alex, have you heard that people call Carrboro the Paris of the Piedmont?
Honestly, I have never heard that, but don't you think that Carrboro would need a little more style to earn that title? Well, when we come back, we'll show you how shoes are making Carrboro more stylish and a lot more fun.
When you buy disposable and overpackaged products for your home, you're really saying, I'm fine with depleting natural resources. Pollute our air and water. Energy? Wasted. People tell you, hey, go for less packaging. Check out reusables. Buy stuff in bulk. Well, you tell them, no thanks. I'd rather throw it all away. Buy smart. Waste less. Save more.
Can I help you, sir?
I found these over by the stairs.
Okay, thank you.
What are they?
Love handles. Lots of people lose them taking the stairs instead of the escalator.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
It's a commonly known fact that women love shoes. I'm speaking for myself and all women here, right?
Yeah, I love shoes. I'll tell you that.
But sometimes the crowds at the mall, I think, can take the fun out of shoe shopping.
Definitely. Well, Julia Meyer is going to tell us about a little shoe store in Carrboro that doesn't have the crowd problem, but has every shoe design you can imagine.
Okay, quick question. Where would you go to buy shoes like this? Or this? No, not New York. Not Paris. That's right, you guessed it. Carrboro, North Carolina. There's more to Carrboro than the standard concert venue and organic food market.
One of Carrboro's newest additions is the Ha Ha Shoe Store, located just across from Cat's Cradle on East Main Street.
They stretch a little because it's leather.
Gabriela Cunha and her husband, Hank Hardigan, founded Ha Ha Shoes. Hardigan started in the shoe industry working for name brand companies such as Reebok, Calvin Klein, and Nautica. Although the couple enjoyed the excitement of the fast-paced fashion industry, they ultimately decided to settle down in a community where they could develop and sell their own unique shoe designs. Cunha says Carrboro's laid-back atmosphere made it the perfect place to set up shop.
We decided, okay, that's the time for us to kind of choose the right spot to be and where we feel like it's a good balance of quality life. So we decided to move to this area in Carrboro.
If you're not really into shoes, don't worry. You can always check out the store's selection of handbags, jewelry, and music. In Carrboro, I'm Julia Meyer, Carolina Week.
Well, Kate, I guess Carbro is pretty stylish.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that I've got some shoe shopping to do. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.